What is going on, Thumbthumbs? This is Thumbbrother 2 bringing you guys the quarterfinal team builder for the LDL Season 7. Us Salt Lake City Swampert are going to be retaking on the Victorville Victini and Coach Anthony. Now, of course, you guys did not see our original battle against Anthony because it took place all the way back in Week 3 of this season. However, this was a wonderful week for us as we really started to turn things around. It's our first victory of the season and Anthony's first loss of the season. It was a very challenging battle, I will admit. So facing him again after all this time is going to be a little bit challenging. I know for sure. However, I really do feel like I had brought one of the best teams I could possibly bring against him. Now that I have warmed up to my team a little bit more, some of the things are the same. Some things are, of course, different because you want to change things up against your opponent. However, nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and break down his team and go over my team and why it is I'm bringing, what I think Anthony will bring, and we will go from there. Now, unfortunately, my webcam is acting up a little bit, so you guys will not see my face. However, that doesn't mean that you guys get possibly some of the best quality that I can provide, even though my quality is always poor. Let's go ahead and jump into Anthony's team. He's got the Mew. Very powerful Mon, base 100 stats across the board. It's very, very scary because you don't know what exactly this thing is going to do. Anthony brought a very cool set for me and my Mega Charizard with a Rocky Helmet Roost Toxic Stealth Rocks Roar set, which allowed it to live any hit, honestly. Roost off the damage, toxic me, and just roar me out if I start setting up against it. It's a very powerful set, and that Rocky Helmet really did add up some damage over time. However, I was able to get around it. If he does decide to bring it again, I'm ready for it. I just really do fear an offensive Mew this time around more so than anything, because once Mew does get a setup where his Mew is offensive, it can really just pull any move it wants to out of its butt. So it's very, very scary, but however, you know, like I said, it's pretty common to know that Mew is more so brought defensively than offensively, but you never know. It's playoffs, you never know. Up next is going to be Mimikyu, another amazing setup mon just because it has that disguise ability, allowing it that guaranteed substitutes per se. Allowing it to get up a Swords Dance. It has things such as the Shadow Sneak, Play Rough, Wood Hammer, Will-O-Wisp set for a more techie kind of set. Very, very cool mon. I really, really like it. The only problem with it is relying on that Play Rough. If he does want to go for, you know, a powerful attack, there is a chance to miss it. I know Matt and the Winnipeg Jellison have not had the best of luck with Play Rough at all, so hopefully that kind of carries around with Mimikyu for the most part, but no for sure, you know. Other than that, you know, we can really work around this thing. I have a lot of wonderful answers to this thing. He could bring it, however, I don't really see him bringing it at the same time, but you never know. You never know. Up next is going to be a Alola Muck, really cool mon. And the fact that just that Poison and Dark type only makes it weak to Ground type moves, which I really like, but a really nice ability with Gluttony, allowing it to use those Pinch Berries more effectively now, especially with Recycle. A Recycle Gluttony Pokemon works wonders, as you guys know, from seeing Snorlax put in so much good work this entire season. So other than that, Muck can poison you. He can go ahead and be Assault Vest, even if he's not the Gluttony set. Assault Vest Muck can really just bulk out any really big hit on our team and then just start hitting us back for more effective damage. It's got that stab knockoff, of course, so very cool mon. Very bulky, very difficult to get around. Up next is going to be Incineroar, the mascot of the channel. Incineroar I love so much. For a wonderful reason. It's just an awesome Pokemon. It just really is. It could be offensive physically, or especially you can run an Assault Vest with like a Drain Punch for more longevity. It could be made for Trick Room. Like seriously, there's so many awesome things that you can do with Incineroar, especially now that it does have access to Intimidate on top of Blaze as well. Two amazing abilities. You do not sleep on the Blaze. You've learned that from Blaze and Squid time and time again. The Blaze, the Torrent, and the Overgrow, you do not sleep on those abilities at all. So very, very cool mon. I really do see him bringing this thing again, just because it does put in so much work against our team, and if set up, he could honestly sweep. Next up is Jellicent. I love the combination of Incineroar and Jellicent just because I did the same thing back in PGL and U Season 1. That off-season was so much fun. Got to use Incineroar for the first time, and I paired it with Jellicent just because it made sense. Jellicent is such an awesome defensive mon as well, being able to do things like Will-O-Wisp and Toxic, of course. It gets access to recovery as well, but on top of that, Jellicent has a very interesting moveset, and the fact it does get, the standard Scald, Shadow Ball and stuff, but also gets access to things like Energy Ball, so it can combat those other bulky water types, Dark Pulse, as well as Dazzling Gleam. So this Pokemon has a lot of potential if used correctly. So if he does decide to bring it, I won't be surprised. Amazing abilities as well, such as Water Absorb, Curse Body. So really, really cool Pokemon. Really, really like it. Pairs really nicely with Incineroar. Could be problematic, but you never know. Next is going to be Vileplume. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I really don't know a lot about Vileplume, other than what I've seen it been used against me from Steven and the Russellville Rockets from the previous season. Just not a lot that I know about it. I know it gets access to Strength Stat now. Other than that, I know it can be very, very bulky, so that's all I'm really going on. I don't expect much out of Vileplume because of the Pokemon I do have, so yeah, moving on. Up next is going to be his Mega Audino. Very, very awesome mon. Very interesting that he did decide to choose it. I don't think anyone's ever drafted it before, so it was really interesting to be going against Anthony with it the first time. It's mainly seen as a Cleric or like a Calm Mind setup kind of mon, which is really, really cool. Also has a very interesting moveset, I know for sure, so we definitely have to watch out for that to see what kind of a set he is rocking. However, I don't know, just I'm seeing a lot of dual types going through his team so far. Like, I know he has 2 ghost types, he has 2 dark types, he has 2 psychic types, he has 2 fairy types now as well. And so, very, very interesting to be seeing this, but nonetheless, it doesn't mean that his team isn't any less scary. However, I think with those double typings, we can definitely take advantage of some common weaknesses across the board. Speaking of common weaknesses, alongside of everything, we have the Gliscor, that times 4 weakness to Ice, like I just mentioned. Very, very easy to take control of with that. However, at the same time, you can only just hit this thing as hard as you can. A bulky Gliscor is so problematic. With that Poison Heal ability, on top of that, you also have a potential setup Gliscor, and I'm not gonna lie, Gliscor setting up is scary because I know it gets access to Fire Fang, and then Earthquake pretty much bops the rest of the team. So very, very scary. But I think that if we play around it correctly, we will be able to go ahead and whittle it down effectively to where we can just go ahead and knock it out. Up next, though, is probably one of the bigger threats, is going to be Latios. Latios was the big threat last time, I know for sure. So many different things you can do with this mon. Calm Mind, Dragon Dance, Choice Scarf, Choice Specs, Life Orb. I really fear some sort of Dragon Dance set as well as the Life Orb set, just because it hits so stupid hard. It hits so hard. Probably one of the hardest hitting Draco Meteors in the entire game. That base 110 speed allows it to outspeed so many different things, if not our entire team. Let me double check that. I think it is our entire team, but yeah, Latios is very, very scary. We definitely have to look out for it because it's definitely coming. I'm telling you that much right now. It's definitely coming. Up next is going to be Electrode. Electrode came the last time, even though I didn't think it would, to set up screens against me, and this thing being as fast as it was, I know he ran it modest, he had some HP investment, because I think it's like base 150 or base 145 speed. You can honestly not invest a lot of speed and still outspeed everything on my team outside of Scarfers, of course. And with that, just put in so much hurt, so much hurt. I did somewhat plan for screens this time if he did decide to bring it. However, because it is not the bulkiest mon, it is easier to take down. So I'm hoping that we can, prevent screens from going up this time around. If not, that's okay. I believe I have a bulky enough team to work around that. And last but not least, he has the Cobalion. Cobalion is probably the biggest threat, just because it speed ties with Ninetales as well, and just really obliterates our team. It has a really awesome moveset. It can be more utility with like Stealth Rocks and Volt Switch. However, I don't see that at all, just because Swords Dance setup with I think it's like Rock Polish, I know it gets, is very, very scary. Iron Head, Close Combat, some other move, I don't know, Stone Edge or something like that, just obliterates the team. Obliterates the entire team. If he gets to +2, I think we're honestly done. There's not a lot of Pokemon that can really take those hits and then turn around and hit him back. So, I mean, what else are you going to do? What else are you going to do? Hopefully he doesn't bring it, because I do have so many I have some decent answers for it, so maybe he thinks he doesn't want to bring it. And then he has the Darkinium Z. Darkinium Z pairs really nicely with Mew, Mach, and Incineroar, I know for the most part. Other things that could work with is maybe potentially Latios and Jellicent. However, I don't know about those. I'm not too worried about the Z Crystal coming, so yeah, there's that. Let's go ahead and jump into our team, though. As we go ahead, let's see, where is it? The team builder, there we go. Our first Pokemon up is going to be Emma Frost, our Alolan Ninetales, running modest this week. I mean, a timid max speed set to go ahead and potentially outspeed with that, what's it called, that Cobalion, and just outspeed pretty much everything else below it. With the Nasty Plot Focus Sash set, being in against a couple things like the Incineroar, or a couple things that could probably knock us out. It's very, very scary. Getting up the snow for a few turns. We're running the Blizzard to hit things as hard as we can, the Moonblast, and then the Dark Pulse after a Nasty Plot. We two-shot the Jellicent, which is really nice, and then standard coverage with Blizzard Moonblast hits as hard as we can. Focus Dash, like I said, is like to get up a decent hit across from the Cobalion. I believe we two-shot without any Nasty Plot up. However, we do risk that speed tie, so that's primarily what that's there for, is just kind of guaranteed insurance against it if it does decide to set up, because I do fear the Cobalion so much. But other than that, it's just a very, very powerful mon. Setup Ninetales is something that I really wanted to work for throughout the season. Haven't been able to find the right time to use it, so here is hoping that it does work this time. Up next, you guys, is going to be Nidoking, pretty much the same set that we brought last time. The Choice Scarf Modest set with enough speed to, I believe, outspeed, I believe it was Incineroar to some degree. So, we have a lot of awesome speed in this. We outspeed the Latios, of course. I believe we barely outspeed the Electrode as well. So, there's that. Very standard set on it as well. Sludge Wave, Ice Beam, Earth Power, Thunderbolt, just all around coverage. I'm really going to be clicking probably Earth Power and Ice Beam the entire time, just because it puts in a lot of work. And two shots a lot of things, if not one shot. So there's that. Very, very powerful set. Really good answer for Latios. Which is why I fear he might bring a Choice Scarf Latios as well. But, we're going to have to look out for that when we do. But otherwise, Nidoking, Charlemagne. Charlemagne is such a powerful mon. I'm glad I have him. Then we have Scrub a Dub on our team. You guys are Rotom Wash. Especially defensive Rotom Wash this time, just to help us combat against the... pardon me. To help us combat against things like the Jellicent, the Electrode, the Latios for sure, and then even potentially an offensive Mew. I really did fear an offensive Mew this time around, because I just was thinking that this is how he was going to switch things up. So I'm Calm Natured, Max Special Defense, Hydro Pump, Volt Switch, Toxic, and Defog. Defog, of course, is just to keep those rocks and those screens off of the field. And Toxic to really start wearing down a lot of things, especially like some sort of like Calm Mind or like a Calm Mind styled Latios. So hopefully that all goes well. It's so weird running it especially defensive instead of physically defensive. It kind of like bugs me, but at the same time I know Rotom's is going to be putting in the best work. Up next, you guys, this is going to be Scizor Ferrari. Very fun set. Another setup set with Swords Dance, Lumberry set. I can go ahead and easily set up against things like the Mimikyu or even the Jellicent if they want to go ahead and go for the Will-O-Wisp against me, or even the Mew, which I really, really like. Bullet Punch U-Turn Knockoff is very, very powerful. Adamant Nature with 36 speed to go ahead and I believe it is outspeed something along the lines of a speed creeping Incineroar. Technician, of course, but Bullet Punch decimates a lot of his team, as well as get up a Swords Dance, then U-turning out really does a huge number on a number of his team as well. From there, Knockoff just works wonders. If we're able to get to +4, I believe we go ahead and just sweep for the most part against most of his mons. So very, very powerful set. Hopefully Ferrari comes through for us, and yeah, I'm not a lot of HP just to go ahead and potentially live a Draco Meteor one time against Latios, so we got to make sure Scizor stays as healthy as it can. Up next, you guys, is going to be Astrius, our Lycanroc Dusk form, holding the Life Orb. With the Cell Rock, Drill Run, Crush, and Sucker Punch. I really like this set just because Lycanroc Dusk has enough power behind it. It outspeeds the Cobalion by 1 point, so we get to Drill Run. A Cell Rock helps us just hit things for a quick, effective damage. And then Sucker Punch as well, for things like that Latios. If that Latios goes ahead and sets up after a little bit of chip damage, we can go ahead and with the Sucker Punch go ahead and knock it out, which is what I really like about this set. Otherwise, it's just a really good offensive quick mon just to really scare things out, especially that Cobalion. The problem is just getting in Astrius against the Cobalion that is problematic. So yeah. And last but not least, you guys, surprisingly enough, we are not going to be bringing our Mega Charizard Zula this week. We're actually going to be bringing Big Mama, the common Figgy Berry set that Arthur gave us way back when, which has put in so much work. Of course, Sassy Nature to up its special defense a little bit more. This thing tanks hits all day long. We got the Recycle, Curse, Facade, and Earthquake, just in case anyone wants to try and burn me or toxic me or anything like that. Curse is so nice. Facade gets that boost. And then Earthquake is just a good coverage altogether. Honestly, there's not a lot that can really sit in our way except, I want to say, the Jellicent. However, after a few curses, we can go ahead and just put in the work and the Cobalion. The Cobalion also prevents us from setting up curses. However, doesn't mean Big Mama can't come in and put in the hurt. So that's going to be our team, you guys. Let me know down below what you think of the team. The battle should be coming up tomorrow. But that's going to do it for me. I'm going to get up out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Thumbbrother 2, and I'll see you for the quarterfinals.